We have all felt overwhelmed at some time, but the key to not staying overwhelmed is to recognize when you're in it. Once you recognize it, then you are able to deal with it better. That is why in today's video, I am sharing with you some tips on how to overcome the overwhelm. If you're new here, I'm Rachel Vincent, and I share tips on running effective and efficient classrooms so that you can get more done and still have time to teach. One of the craziest things about teaching is that every month is a busy month. So if you think like the beginning of the year, all teachers know how crazy busy the beginning of a year is. And then you get into a little bit of routine, and then all of a sudden October hits, and then you have parent conferences, end of first quarter, report cards. For some reason, it seems to also be the time of the year where fundraisers are happening, and then you have end of quarter assessments, and then it's all the holidays and all the things that go into that. And then once you get back from winter break, it's the end of the second quarter and all the things, and it just, then state testing, and it just is never ending busyness in the life of a classroom teacher. So it can be really easy to get overwhelmed with all the things that are on our to-do list all the time. The first thing that always helps me when I begin to feel overwhelmed with the amount of things that I need to do is I have to get all of those things, all of those to-do list, all of those, everything that's on my mind out of my mind and onto a piece of paper. So I like to do a big, giant brain dump. Our brain is not designed to store all of that information. It is a place to process information. So when we just keep all of those to-do lists that we don't actually ever put on a physical to-do list, it can lead to overwhelm. So just getting them out of our brain onto a piece of paper, you can immediately begin to start to feel better. The next thing to do is to look at the list you have created and begin to prioritize it. And one of the things I like to do, especially in a season of overwhelm when there is so much to do, instead of just making a list of things I want to get done, I assign a time to it, and not just a time like I'm gonna do this during my planning period on Wednesday. I assign how long I think that task will take. Is it a 5-minute task? Is it a 10-minute task? Is it a 30-minute or longer task? Because if I just say I'm going to do grading on Wednesday's planning period, I might take that 45 minutes of my planning period and spend grading or think I'm doing all the grading. When in reality, I could probably get through a grading session in 10 minutes if it's not a writing assignment. And then I would have 35 more minutes to do something instead of dilly-dallying and doing who knows what else during that time along with my grading. Another thing I like to do is after I have assigned a time limit of how long I think each task will take, is I try to knock out those real quick win 5-minute tasks. Can I reply to this email? Can I rehang this poster that's fallen? What are all of the quick wins, things I can do? It helps me to feel more accomplished. I'm able to cross more things off that list and start to feel less overwhelmed. The flip side to that is sometimes instead of doing all of the little quick wins, I will do the thing that I think will either take the longest or be the hardest to do. By tackling that first, it takes that stress level of this enormous thing that I feel like I have to do and completely takes it off my list, and it's done. And oftentimes the things that we think will take the longest or be the hardest to do don't actually take that long. Another thing to do when you have a giant to-do list is to ask yourself, is this really necessary? And sometimes even ask yourself, is it necessary in this season? This month, is it necessary that I do this item on my to-do list? Because remember, every time that you say yes to something, you are saying no to something else. So if someone comes to you and asks you to be in charge of a committee or host this group of college students, by saying yes to that, you're also saying no to losing time somewhere else or not being able to complete your to-do list during your workday and now having to do it after contract hours. Another thing that's really important is to know your operating rhythm. I know personally, getting to school early to get a whole bunch of things done is not really in my operating rhythm. I am more of a person who can get a lot done during my 45-minute planning period. And then if I need to, I would rather spend that time after school getting it done than before school getting it done. I have gotten really good at being able to get it done during the school day, so I actually don't come in early or stay late. But if there's a time, and sometimes we have those seasons when grades are due, when parent conferences are there, when I know I'll be spending more time before or after school, I will always choose the after school because I know that works best for me. And as much as I would like to say that using all these tips will get everything crossed off your teacher to-do list, I just know that's not reality. Unfortunately, we live in a society that adds more to teachers' plates year after year after year and takes nothing off of our plates. The only way that I have found in my 19 years of teaching to be able to sustain that kind of unrealistic expectation that is placed on teachers is to tell myself that is enough for today. So when I get to the end of the day, I know that I have accomplished a lot with my students from that to-do list, even if it's just getting one or two things crossed off that to-do list today. I know that that is enough for today. So I encourage you to use that phrase when you look at your list and you think, but I have so many more things to do. That is enough for today. If you're looking for some more strategies to help you save time and feel less overwhelmed, then check out the video that is on your screen now, and I will see you over there.